So obviously Joe Theismann made some waves. We love that. Anytime anybody has some interesting comments. I kind of, to be honest with you, I kind of agree with sort of the general sentiment. I think it'd be crazy to start Haskins before he's ready. JP kind of disagrees with me. He thinks let's start the clock and find out as soon as we can if this guy's got it or not. I don't know. What's your take on it? Joe says it'd be basically a disaster to play him this year. My sense from that is as he's getting word or he's seen for himself, he doesn't think he's anywhere near ready.
Yeah, I mean, Joe's been out there, and I think it just depends on the days that you're out there, because there are some days that I've been out there and gone, man, this would be bad if he started, because he's taking a lot of sacks, and that's the thing that does concern you. But there's also days he looks so much better than Case Keenum, you wonder, like, are they playing the same position? So I don't think it'd be a disaster, and I think some of that is how Dwayne's built from a character standpoint. His demeanor is just so good. His whole mental makeup, just the quality of person that he is, the toughness that he has, I think would save him from, the Derek Carr, Joey Harrington type of thing the David Carr, Joey Harrington type of thing that Joe talked about in his comments. But I do wonder if it's the best thing, and so I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't think it'd be a disaster. I do think that him sitting for a little while might be the better option. But to me, it's about who's the best guy for the job. There is a development standpoint, but mostly you're just delaying the inevitable. Like, I don't know how many guys. Like, is Patrick Mahomes going to stink if he doesn't sit for a year? I don't think so. I think he'd probably figure it out because he's great. Is Aaron Rodgers going to not be Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't sit for 3 years? I don't know. Like, Peyton Manning turned out all right. I generally think you're better off just finding out if the guy can play or not.
But honestly, I don't think that Dwayne Haskins is Aaron Rodgers or even Pat Mahomes.
I'm just saying that, the timeline portion of it is, I think, a little overrated at times. I think a guy can generally figure it out and he'll learn and he'll get better, or he won't. Dwayne's a little bit of a special case because they only played 13 games in college. So maybe him sitting a while is what's best. But I think what it comes down to is this is the land the plane moment. Right now, his good snaps are way better than everyone else's good snaps because he's so extraordinarily talented. The problem is, how many bad snaps does he have, and how often is he having them? Because it's not like Case Keenum's a world beater. He's going to have his bad snaps too because he's Case Keenum, and the same thing for Colt McCoy. And so how often do those things come about, and what do they look like? Are they just incompletions? Is it the occasional rush throw, the occasional interception, and the occasional sack? Or is every third snap he can't figure out where to go with the ball and he's getting blasted? Because that's the kind of stuff that's really bad. Or he's turning the ball over a ton. Like, those are the kind of things you can't do. And I think training camp's going to give us a much better sense of whether or not he's ready in that sense yet.
Craig, how much do you think it ruffled the feathers of Daniel Snyder and Bruce Allen, the comments from Joe Theismann here on The Fan over the weekend?
I don't think they particularly care a whole lot. Maybe Joe. What Joe says matters for sure. And
right.
I think in some ways it's a preview of maybe what he'll say on the preseason games. I think on the team broadcast he'd probably be a little more diplomatic than using words like it's a disaster waiting to happen. But ultimately, like, nothing right now matters too much. It's great for us that Joe said it because someone who did a show this weekend. There's not a whole lot going on. I don't envy having to do 4 hours a day this time of year for you guys. But it's like training camp is going to tell the story here. So, we can say, hey, it might be a disaster right now. Then we get out there for 3 days of camp. He looks great. And all of a sudden Joe's talking about how great he looks. And these comments don't cause any kind of angst beyond whatever they're causing right now in June.
Well, how many days has Dwayne outperformed Case? Because it's my understanding he looked great on the first day, but then since then it's pretty much been Case's deal, at least from when you guys have been around.
Right, and that's the thing is I don't know about the days that we weren't there. Every time I talk to people, it wasn't like I was given a count. You ask, well, okay, what's it been like? Well, yeah, there's been some days like the first day and some days like the other one. Okay. And right. You don't get hey, well, 7 days Case was better and 6 days Dwayne was better. Overall, I'd say Case was better. That first day we were out there, Dwayne was awesome. I think the last day we were out there, Dwayne was really good. But also the interesting thing about those 2 days is those are the days the least amount of veterans are there. So the Josh Normans and everybody else isn't out there, and Dwayne looks better because the talent around him isn't as good. He's clearly at a certain threshold. So I don't even know how much stock I put into all that. I think the minicamp days are probably the most important. Case was overall better over that 3-day stretch, although it was fairly close. And then I think once we get to training camp, all that kind of doesn't matter. But there's no separation or no meaningful separation in the spring that can't be overcome in the fall.
Okay, but don't we just assume, I know I do, that if you put a gun to Jay's head, he absolutely wants to start the veteran and just get out there and just win football games. He's not really interested in grooming any rookie at this point.
Well, he wants to win football games, and I think this is the question that remains, is who's the best guy to do that? And that's, I think, where everyone's kind of missing here, is that yes, there's an element of like what's best for the franchise, and what's best for the franchise is what's best for Dwayne's development. But Dwayne might be the best option to win football games. Like, his good is really good. He can make throws that the other two cannot make. Mm-hmm. Whether it's giving guys chances on deep balls, which that's the easy stuff to see, or squeezing in some of these tight window throws. He does throw with decent anticipation when he kind of is able to read the defense pre-snap and be right. And so, the more he can do that, he might become, through practice and training camp and all this kind of stuff, the best chance to win games now. And that's the part where Joe's comments, make me scratch my head a little bit. That's the part where I think everyone doesn't talk enough about, like the idea that, what's best for Dwayne and winning games now are mutually exclusive might not be mutually exclusive. I don't know yet. I haven't seen enough, and certainly the competition where he's succeeded the best against is where there's been the least amount of veterans, so that doesn't give you great confidence, but he's also so fresh in this process. He's going to have double the amount of practice time that he's had so far 2 weeks into training camp, and before the first preseason game. He'll have doubled his practice time. So I think that on that level, we need to – I know we can't be patient because I can't be like, I don't know, well, ask me again in July. This makes very good radio. But ultimately, like, that's kind of where I'm at, is that nothing changed competition so much that Dwayne can't overcome it, and I still think he's capable of winning this job outright, not having it handed to him because of some dictate from above.